Hi, YouTube. This is Sasha and Alicia with Chat Tea.
We are two best friends living in two different states that chat all things 90 Day Fiancé, Bravo shows, and single and married life.
Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and like our video. It really helps us out. And and make sure that you hit the bell for the notification so you don't miss any of our shows. And today we are reviewing Darcy and Stacey. We are on season 1, episode 8. And this episode is called The Ultimate Betrayal. Dun, dun, dun.
And there was a lot in this one. Woo!
There was a lot in this one. I mean, you could sum it up pretty quick, but there was a lot to talk about in this one. I thought that we would be like starting right off with Shanti and Florian and that whole thing right off the bat, but we end up starting with Darcy. And she is telling us in the confessional that she found out some information about Georgie. And she's concerned about this, and that he just dropped the bomb on her that he is still married.
Yep, and if you guys follow us on Instagram, same username, Chat with Sasha and Alicia. I did post a spoiler yesterday, so you may have already heard this or seen it.
Yeah, the spoilers were out. I think the first spoiler I saw was 2 days ago. So today's Monday, so that would have been like Saturday. So that was the first spoiler I saw. Now, this is shocking to Darcy, but even though they're separated, I mean, for me, I heard this and my first thought was like, I don't understand. Why is this such a big deal? I mean, it's paperwork. In a lot of states, the paperwork takes a while. Some states it works really quickly, I think. But in several states, the paperwork takes a while. So I don't really understand why this is such a big issue. And then Georgie goes on to explain to us that he was married for 3 years. Things started out fine, but then they started like not getting along so well, and they grew apart and they decided to get divorced. They got separated. They've been separated for over a year now. They were doing the divorce paperwork. COVID hit, the courts closed, and so it just didn't get finished, and it's now stuck in limbo.
Okay, although that's the part that got me. If they separated a year and a half ago, COVID just hit 6 months ago. And at the time that they're filming this is around the beginning of COVID. So what happened in that year and a half? That's what I didn't understand.
I mean, I know I did not.
Unless it was just filed and it was just taking its time.
I think it could have been either filed and taking its time, or maybe they just didn't file right away. Maybe they separated first, like some people do. You separate first, and then you wait a little bit to see, like, if you can either come back together, or maybe you're thinking about trying to work things out, or sometimes it does cost money to get divorced, no matter if it's amicable or not. So sometimes sometimes you're just like, look, I don't have the money to file the paperwork right now. Let's start it at this time. So there could be a myriad of reasons why.
You can tell how many divorces I've been through.
Yeah. I mean, I've only been through one, but I can tell you there are reasons, and different states have different rules that are going along and they have to follow. So there's a lot that we don't know, but the way he's talking about this doesn't make me feel like, oh my God, wow. Like I am blown away by this bomb. Like I was blown away by the videos we saw of Florian. Like this does not blow me away. And I don't even think it's anything worth mentioning. Honestly. And then he also tells us that when he met Darcy in Miami for the first time, that he mentioned this to her. And I'll play the clip. So he mentions that, they were drinking a lot of champagne, though. She didn't really react. Like, they kind of just, like, brushed over it. So he says, and so far, he hasn't given us any indication that he's a liar, that he's trying to, like, hide things. So he probably did say something about it. And my guess is that Darcy just chose not to hear it because she is on the path for love and finding love and finding a husband. So,
I think all she heard was probably, hey, I'm in the process.
Yeah.
But now either A, this is my thought process. Either A, the producers needed more drama.
That's what
so they wanted her to bring it up.
That's what
Or she was afraid someone else was going to find out and put it on social media because of everything that happened with Stacey and Florian. But for the most part, I think the producers wanted more drama because
that's what I think.
She is overly dramatic about this. Even in the opening when she's like, something I haven't even talked to you guys about. And I've been hiding and like.
Yeah. That's what I feel. He's just
like, yeah, cool, it's paperwork. Like,
and then he even says when he did meet Darcy, they had filed the paperwork and then they were told the divorce should be finalized within like 3 weeks, 21 days. And it was at that point that the courts, then COVID hit and the court shut down. So it was kind of like right there at the end. And
that would make sense because they met around Super Bowl. So that was about the beginning of February. And by the end of February, it had hit.
Yeah. So that's what he said. So that's where he's explaining, the divorce and the issues with it and what happened.
We separated more than a year ago. And I applied for divorce before I meet with Darcy. And first time me and Darcy talk in Miami, we shared that. I mentioned that I was married, but we don't focus too much about this conversation because first of all, in Miami, we're having fun, and it was like drinking champagne. She don't pay attention too much.
Darcy, though, claims in the confessional that, he didn't mention this in Miami. But honestly, I think she just tuned that shit out. I don't believe that he didn't mention it. So far, he does not strike me as someone hiding anything. I'm sure she told him. So
100%.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. And I don't understand. I think that was my first thought, like you, that this was a producer push thing for a little more drama, because I could tell you from my first divorce, it was amicable. We separated and then we waited a year, see if we could work things out. We couldn't, wasn't going that way. And then we ended up doing the paperwork, taking it down to the courthouse. We didn't get a lawyer. We didn't do anything like that. It was totally easy, but we turned in the paperwork and they said, okay, well, it'll be a minimum of 6 months. And we said, okay, well, how do we know when it's done? And they said, we don't send you anything. It's just done. Mm-hmm. So in 6 months, it should be public record that your divorce is finalized. And we're like, okay. And then we, said good luck and went our separate ways. And it wasn't a big deal. And there's no way in hell I was going to be like, oh, well, technically I'm still married, so I can't talk to anybody or go on any dates or do anything. I'm just going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs. So that way.
Yeah, that's true.
That's ridiculous.
Carolina was the same way when she got divorced, and it was a money issue with her and her ex. Mm-hmm. And then my parents, a little off topic, but they separated and got back together 3 times. Yeah. Before getting divorced. And then they got their lawyers. Everything was amicable. The biggest thing was me and my sister. How are they going to do custody? And I think it took almost a year for their divorce to be filed after they filed the paperwork.
It takes time. It still takes time. And every state has different rules for how much time it takes once you file the paperwork. All the hoops you have to jump through. We actually did a few things wrong on the forms. So we were called back to refill out the forms together. There's a whole bunch of things, but this doesn't seem shady in any way.
So what I'm hearing you say is stay single as opposed to getting married and have it.
Well, I will tell you that here it cost us, without lawyers and just to file the paperwork ourselves. In California, it cost $450. And then there was 6 months we had to wait for the divorce to be finalized before either of us could marry someone else. So that was the minimum that it would cost you if everything is amicable and you just fill out the forms that you can find on their website. No lawyers, nothing.
Yeah, but we know friends that have been battling for years.
Yes. So if you have anything, but we didn't have anything. We didn't have cars. We didn't have that were in each other's names. We didn't have a house. We didn't have joint bank accounts. We didn't have any savings. We had nothing. He had some student loans. And he had a little bit of savings in his own bank account. I just said, I won't touch your own savings as long as you don't try to saddle me with your school loans. That was it. That was the only thing because Yeah.
Divorcing tips from Sasha, guys.
That was it. It was super
My theory is,
easy.
let's have a savings. Ladies, if you're single and you get married, let's do an account that's like a divorce fund just in case it don't work out.
Yes.
And we're ready to go.
Yes. So, I don't know. Darcy is either just being her overly dramatic, normal Darcy self, or the producers are pushing this, or it's a little of both.
Yep.
I mean,
I think a big part of producers, because as we've talked about before, there's been a lot of episodes this season.
Yeah. I mean,
it was hard for me to focus on, and it's been hard to talk about, to be honest, because there's just not a lot.
I know, because there's not a ton. I mean, we do only have 2 characters, in this. So it's a little bit different than The Housewives or 90 Day because there's so many characters. So there's a lot more to go on.
Yeah, it's just like with 90 Days and Housewives, there's always 1 or 2 characters that you just fast forward through and don't want to watch anymore.
Yeah, you just don't care about. You're not interested in. There's not a lot to say about them.
Yeah.
So,
and COVID doesn't help. I'm sure there would have been drama if they would have came to LA or
exactly. There would have
been some other things, like maybe even mixed in some of their 90-day castmates. Or hey, TLC, that's a
true.
Maybe they're friends with some of them, right?
I'm sure. Yeah, I like the crossover stuff. I know when they're friends, sometimes they do crossover things.
Yeah.
So that's fun to see. But I mean, Darcy's upset that she tells us she's upset that he didn't have a lawyer to help him, and if he would have had a lawyer, this, might not have happened. And him not having a lawyer means to her that, like, it's not as serious. Like, if you were serious about divorcing, you would get a lawyer because that's what most people do. Which, maybe that's what she had to do.
You knew how to file the paperwork. There was nothing to split up.
Exactly.
Why do we need a lawyer?
So, yeah.
Like I said, my parents only got a lawyer because of the kids.
Exactly. And she had...
why they would have...
And Darcy had kids when she divorced, which is why she needed the lawyer. Otherwise, if it's amicable, why are you paying someone thousands of dollars to do what you can do on your own? It doesn't. So, yeah, it's stupid.
Darcy should be glad he was married before, because clearly he doesn't need her for the green card.
Exactly. He does not need it. Well, he's been there a while already, too. So.
Yeah, but still, I bet the marriage helped.
Oh. And then this part gets me. Okay, so then they show a clip of Darcy telling us that if she knew that he was still married when she had met him, that she would not have started dating him. And they would probably just only be friends. So.
He was married at that time. I don't know if we would be in this type of relationship. Maybe just friends.
Lies.
I call major bullshit on this. Sorry, Darcy.
Major bullshit.
The whole world knows how thirsty you are for a man. And if he's hot and you guys have chemistry, there is no way in hell, and he hasn't even seen his ex in over a year, there's no way, because on paper, the courts just haven't gotten around to finalizing the divorce, that you're going to be like, oh, sorry, no, you're off limits. Can't date you. Like, no.
I mean, she's a magnet for toxic men and and unavailable men. So
but he is but he's not toxic, at least nothing that I have seen.
He's not. He's definitely not.
This is the only little bit of dirt they could possibly have figured out how to, pull up on him. So
exactly.
I don't know. I think it's just extra on this. Even though she's upset, though, they go ahead and they take a nice little walk through the forest together. And then he tells she wants a little piggyback ride, so she hops on his back. And then he tells her, man, you're skinny, babe. And she's like, oh, thank you. And then he's like, okay, get off. That's enough.
I want to play. Look, we have the whole forest.
He's like, we're done.
Like,
let me give her a compliment, and then
like, dude, you're kind of heavy. Get off my back.
Exactly. Well, and he had a backpack on, so
that's
why did she think that was a good idea?
Well, I don't know, because he even said, like, no, I've got a backpack on, and she was determined, like, nope, I'm getting a piggyback ride.
Yeah, no.
No, and I mean, have you, like, do you remember the last time you got a piggyback ride? I'm sorry, as an adult, that is not comfortable.
No, I don't. And I don't doubt that, though.
It's not comfortable. It's not fun. I mean, I don't think anyone could pick me up at this point, but nor would I want them to. I got short little legs, guys.
True.
There's
I
not a
do
lot
too.
of
And
room to
short
wrap
arms.
around. Like,
Yeah, I have no room to wrap
hold
around.
on. It's hard to hold yourself up on somebody's back.
If I have room to wrap around, you are too skinny to carry me.
And we know
I'll stick to the
Georgie is not too skinny. So.
No, he's not. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So that
too
was
short.
pretty. Then they walk to like a really pretty little viewpoint, and they sit down and they start chatting, and then they hear like church bells tolling in the out in the valley, and in true Darcey form, she goes, "Oh wow, maybe it's a sign."
And she immediately says wedding bells. She doesn't even say church bells.
Oh, that's true.
She
Yes.
immediately says wedding bells. And it's like, honey, any Catholic church dings the time with their bells.
It just
immediately called them wedding bells.
It made me instantly think back to Tom and like all those like constant little comments like, "Oh, this is so romantic. It's like we're walking down the aisle." Oh my God. I mean, but Georgie is great. I really like this guy. He just like breezes right past it and is like, "Oh, like you and me getting married?" And then of course, instead of just taking it like, "Oh, this guy's kind of on the same level," she like makes her little snarky dig and says, "Oh, but you're already married." So, which is just like, why? Why are we making this an issue? Why are you trying to sabotage this guy and this relationship and pick at him and make a fight out of something that is really not any big deal? This is just in your head and it's just nonsense. And this guy is great. And we're going to sabotage it by trying to pick fights where there really isn't anything to fight about.
100% producer dig.
Yeah. I hope so. I really hope so. I hope it was just a producer thing and Georgie's in on it and it doesn't actually like cause her to start really just nitpicking over stupid stuff. And then she ends up losing a great guy because of it.
Exactly.
I mean, Florian.
I'm really
Stacey
excited for this one with her.
Yeah, like Florian. Stacey has every right to be pissed at Florian for what he's doing. Darcey has no right to be upset with Georgie because he got divorced and the courts just haven't gotten through filing all the paperwork or, completing it. So that, yeah, stupid. Let's see. Okay, so now we're done with Darcey and Georgie for a little bit, and we bounce back over to Stacey and Florian. They are getting out of the apartment for a little bit, and they are going to go grab some breakfast or drive-through. And then they are also getting ready and talking about how excited they are. They're going to meet up later that day with Darcey and Georgie for the first time, and they're going to have a little picnic together. So apparently they have been, even though they live just down the hall from each other, they have been quarantining just the two couples in their own apartments, and they have not seen each other for 2 weeks. So Darcey still doesn't know that Stacey and Florian have gotten married. Stacey and Florian don't really have any update on how things have been going with Darcey and Georgie. So they're really excited to have this picnic together. Everyone's going to share the news and, catch up on each other and see what they've been doing for the last 2 weeks.
Yep. And I'll bet that quarantine was, because I was a little shocked by that at first, and then I got to thinking about it, and I bet that was a little bit Georgie driven too.
Oh,
Georgie
you're right.
was even the one.
You're right.
Georgie was the one that was like, I need to wait 2 weeks to quarantine in my house to come see you. And then the travel, you need to quarantine for 14 days. So I feel like somebody was exposed.
You're right. Well,
somebody
even if it's
risk.
not exposed per se, just the fact that he came from somewhere else that was heavily affected and then he traveled to her. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
I will bet you that was Georgie.
Yeah. I was wondering why. I'm like, they spend all their time together, though. I don't get it. Like, why would they, and they live down the hall. Like, why wouldn't they just be hanging out all the time because there's nothing else to do?
And I feel like Stacey would have been on board with that, too, because she seems more like a rule. And, maybe it was Darcey, too, because, I mean, this is all new. And, maybe they were like, you know what, this is safe. Let's stay here for 14 days. And Darcey's like, I'll take my risk, with him. But smart. It was smart of them, for sure.
It was really smart. It was smart.
Especially that area of the country.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah. So Stacey, though, lets us know that she's a bit worried about how Darcey is going to react, that they kept, the info of them getting married from her. And it definitely shows how well she knows her sister, because she knows that Darcey is not going to be like excited for her and wow, congratulations. You know, she's going to be hurt and she's going to be upset and it's going to be all about her. And even if there weren't any of these issues with Florian and this other chick going on, it would still be the same thing. Like she, you know, she would be like, oh, I totally get it. You only had 90 days. You just wanted to do something small. Like, I get it. Awesome. Can't wait for the big one, you know, big wedding when this is all over. So Florian and Stacey, they're setting up the picnic, getting ready. And they know Darcey is going to, you know, come in hot, bragging about Georgie, feeling like he's better than Florian. And
all the things. Yeah.
You know, I mean, she's not wrong, right? Like, that's Darcey. And then meanwhile, Darcy and Georgie are in the car. And Darcy is talking to Georgie, and she's concerned about these videos that she was emailed from Shanti about her, you know, with Florian. You know, Georgie is being really cool about the situation. Is like, look, I'm not going to judge Florian. You know, I want to meet him first. Like, you know, I'm not going to judge him before I even get to know him. So he's still, you know, totally willing to meet Stacey and Florian and, you know, judge them based on how they behave in front of him and not based on these other things that he knows about them. So another
Which
point
I thought was really cool. Yeah.
It was another point for Georgie. Georgie's points are just, he's going up, 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 and up in my book. Yeah. Georgie is like the guy you all want, you know, because he seems like a really good catch. Darcy better not fuck this up. So they get there. So Darcy and Georgie get there, and Darcy, you know, comes in her high wedges, walking like on this like hilly turf, trying not to fall, arms carrying all this stuff.
Oh my god, poor Darcy.
And the comments like Stacey was making about her. I mean,
Stacey was getting in.
Stacey was getting in. I mean, it was just hilarious watching her traipse across this uneven ground in these huge heels. She's carrying this gigantic thing. What are those? The big container of the orange like balls.
The cheese
balls.
The cheese puffs. Yep. Oh my gosh.
That huge container in her arm. I mean, I don't think they're gonna eat all those. And a ball. It looked like she had a ball. Like, what kind of a picnic is this? I don't imagine.
I don't know. It looked like the most random picnic I've ever seen.
Did the producers just throw some props at her and it's like, here, carry these to the picnic? Because
probably. Man, they probably got whatever was left at Target.
True. I mean, she doesn't strike me, though, as the one type to, like, kick around the ball while they're at this picnic while eating cheese puffs. That's just me.
But I want to see that.
But it did make for some good, you know, TV. It was pretty funny. I enjoyed it. So, so they get there, you know, everyone's just high. It's a little awkward, a little strange. They're like hugging each other and commenting on how they feel the same. Hugging them. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Like
not
that.
quite.
The boobs, like it felt the same. The boobage, like
That's
comparing the boobs, and then like I think Darcy was the one to be like, "Oh, well, Stacey's are a little bigger than mine," or the other one said it. One of them said it to the other one. It was just, it was awkward, and you could tell everyone was just, it was just strange and awkward. Yeah. And then they're awkwardly, you know, sitting down and talking about, well, what did you do for these last 2 weeks? You know, like. Basically, like, did you have a lot of sex? And they're both like, oh, yeah, we got our cardio. How about you? Oh, yeah, we got our cardio, too. Like, trying to one-up each other, but it's also kind of awkward. And the poor guys are just sitting there like...
And it's almost like they don't know what to talk about.
No, it was very, like, it was very awkward and strange.
Or maybe producer-wise, they knew they had to bring it up and they weren't sure how to, like, do it right away. Do we not? Like, yeah, I feel like a lot of it now is definitely producer.
The whole thing just was awkward, though. Like, well, what have you done in your guys' room when you're not allowed to leave for 2 weeks?
What else would you... That's how I feel about having conversations with people. They're like, oh, what's new?
Yeah.
I went from the living room to the kitchen about 10 times. Like, I don't know.
I drank another bottle of champagne.
That's about it.
That's
I'm
new.
almost out of wine. So
I switched from wine to vodka. It's been one of those days. So Darcy is telling, Stacey and Florian that it's kind of like what they're going through, that her and Georgie are going through something, and then she's like, Georgie, do you want to tell him? And so Georgie tells him, it's not a big deal. Like, hey guys, I'm still technically married. This is what happened. We got divorced. The court's closed. They didn't finish the paperwork because of COVID. So now on paper, I'm still technically married. Not a big deal.
yeah, he didn't even hesitate, and she was just like again with the Darcy dramatics, like.
Well, and then
You
Stacey,
want to tell him?
and Stacey doesn't help because Stacey's like, well, are you okay with that? To her sister? Like, can you fan the flames? Like why? And Darcy should have just said, yeah, I'm fine with it. It's not a big deal. It's on paper. Once the courts open back up, this will be taken care of. And it's not like we're running to the altar right now and going to get married. He hasn't seen his ex in over a year. He's moved on. This is just paperwork. So it's not a big deal. I do need to tell the family. I need to tell the kids because they'll probably hear it one way or another. So I'll let them know, but it's not a big deal. And then it goes to bed.
And that's the big thing is like she needs to be the bigger advocate of it because if she's getting dramatic, no matter how calm and casual he is about it, everyone's gonna be like, oh, he's hiding something, he's doing this, he's doing that. No, she needs to be. This is calm, and you know what? Maybe behind the scenes she is.
Maybe she is. I mean, she says she's not really okay, but she does want to support Georgie and move past this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's really hard to tell with reality TV what is real and what isn't and what is heightened. I mean, because obviously we all know this is a show. They're trying to get ratings. They need, some juicy information. They need stuff for us all to talk about. So it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Tell us. What do you guys think?
Let us know.
You think this is BS? You think this is, truly how Darcy feels? You think this is just the producers, messing with us to get some more content? I don't know. Give us your thoughts, guys. Georgie, though, he's an open book. He explains everything. He's fine. And he says everything in a normal tone. He's not like acting shady. He's not acting like he's trying to hide anything. It's not
he's like, ask me what you want to ask me.
It's a huge betrayal. I don't know. I don't have much more to say on that. You guys know how I feel about it. I think it's stupid. Stacey tells the cameras that she does not think it is a great idea that Georgie should have waited to start dating Darcy, or I guess anyone, until he was fully, completely divorced. But she hopes it works out. These sisters are the definition of frenemies.
It's like, why? You would think they'd be so much more supportive of each other. Like,
they are so the opposite. I couldn't even imagine. I would never keep this kind of a toxic relationship in my life, no matter if they were my twin or not. I couldn't do it. I don't have it in me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
no.
And they are not that great of actresses to be able to completely pull this off just for the show. I don't buy it.
No,
I don't.
No, I think this is really, something must have happened that they haven't talked to us about, or whatever the case may be, where.
Well, even their dad said they just
competition with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, even their dad was saying though that they've always just been very competitive, and this is just kind of the way it is.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean. I get it. Like, siblings are often that way, but usually you end up maturing at some point, and
especially with a twin. Like, I know Carolina and she's a twin, and they are literally each other's rocks and best friends.
Yeah.
And they'll say something every now and then, like, hey, I don't think you should do that for these reasons. But they don't keep going and going and going, and it's not every little thing. It's like
Snarky dig after snarky dig after snarky dig.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've both been married. They don't hold that against each other when the first one got married first and the other. One's got a baby and the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
One's like, oh, now you have a baby. And like every time she complains about her marriage, Carolina's not like, oh, well, but then you have a baby. And then she's like, no, let me listen to my sister and support her. And
yeah.
so weird.
It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So while they're on the topic of marriage already, this gives Stacey the perfect lead-in.
I really love this whole transition.
She's like, well, since we're talking about marriage.
We're married, and now we're married. So
the
we're
way.
the only ones not married. Darcy's the only one in this foursome that's not married.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, poor Darcy. Oh man, that's really sad. I didn't even think about that. Ouch. One day, Darcy. One day. One day.
Fitting is that?
Oh my God. She did get married at some point, so it at least did happen to her once in her life. So, Darcy, of course. Darcy, of course, is super happy and excited for them.
Oh my God. Not as excited as she is at Georgie's marriage.
Yeah. Even more. Stacey tells her sister about the wedding. They had it inside, like just down the hall from Darcy and Florian. And she felt like Cinderella, in her own little moment. And Darcy's response was, well, why'd you keep it from us?
Yeah.
Because it's all about you.
We are down the hall. We are down the hall.
It's all about you, Darcy. That's why we kept it from you, because it's all about you. And then,
Can you imagine 2 more people squeezing into their micro apartment?
Oh God, that would have been great. Oh yeah, and then Darcy look on her face when she's like, oh yeah, and the what's the guy, the officiant, he came in and married us, and she's like, oh, like into your apartment? Like, I guess they should quarantine for another 2 weeks now.
Right.
And then Darcy, because she's, can't just let this go, is like, so, are you guys over your trust issues now? Oh, man. And I mean, she's saying this full on well knowing that, like, in about a hot second, I'm going to show you these videos that are going to blow up your entire world. But let me just ask you first if you guys are good, so I can gauge how big of a bomb this is going to be for you and how miserable it's going to make you. So, it's a sisterly thing to do.
It is, of course.
So, I'm really, I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of Darcy lovers out there, but I like her less and less the more I watch this show.
I'm definitely more Team Stacey than Darcy ever was.
Way more.
Way
I'm
more.
Team Stacey and Georgie. I feel like they should just get together.
Season 2 twins.
Switch.
Hell, I even put mono expression before Darcy. I'll take Florian any day over it. I'd rather watch him with his mono expressions all day than...
He's at least fun to make fun of. She's just sad to make fun of.
Yeah, because you're like, is this really? Like,
I know.
Really?
I know a lot of you out there are, probably not going to like us for our opinions on Darcy, but I don't know. She's just showing some really negative kind of behavior, and I really hope that is not all her, and it's just what we're seeing, which I hope is the case.
I really hope so.
We'll never know. That's the way reality TV goes. The twins, though, they take a minute and they tell the guys, they're going to stretch their legs and go chat for a minute. So they wander over to the bridge, and Darcy pretty much just gets right into it and is like, hey, that chick sent me some more videos, and here you go. And like we all knew it would, I mean, she did not take Take it well.
Wait, what? Let me see. What the? What else did she send you? Wait, what? That was... You're gonna throw up.
She, you know, is sad.
No,
And
I wouldn't either, especially when you're looking at the videos and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and it all clearly happened the same night. And
same
But see,
outfit.
the way Darcy does it.
I know. There's no tact at all.
Here's your silver platter with a ruin to your relationship.
Oh, you just got married? Congratulations. Let's not
Here's your
have
wedding present.
any good time at this picnic before I just shatter everything completely.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, she was all worried about, you know, Georgie getting to know them, but she doesn't waste any time. At least from what we see. Maybe there's a time lapse, but she doesn't waste any time dropping this, you know, nice little juicy gem. Yeah. So that's it. I mean, Stacey's seen the videos and she's like, I can't. I just, like, I need a minute. I can't. Like, I gotta go. I'll be back, but I gotta go. And she leaves. Florian, you know, walks after her. He's not running after her. He doesn't actually catch up with him, with her. He walks slowly behind her, kind of saying her name. So she gets...
Not even her Stacey.
Huh?
Stacey.
Yeah. I mean...
Stacey.
So... He doesn't.
Stacey.
Sorry, guys. Something is in my eye, and I can't tell what it is. Okay, so Florian is, you know, gently walking behind her, calling out her name softly, getting no response. So obviously he does not catch up with her. She jumps in her car and she takes off. Florian now, though, is pissed because now the producers want to ask him questions, and he's like, no, absolutely not. I am not talking to you guys. Like, get this mic off me. Gets the mic off, hands it back, is done. Like, he is not... He's like, it was hard to tell what he was saying, but the gist of it was that he didn't want to talk to them. He wanted to talk to Stacey. Like, he wasn't about the show. He wanted to talk to Stacey.
I also really understand kind of where he's coming from.
Yeah.
That's got to be really hard when you're on reality and you're like, look, I've got to make sense of this before I talk to you. Because he was very respectful. Not like what we've seen in Housewives where they rip it off and they're destroying the mic.
Yeah. He's like, let me take this off.
I'm respecting the mic. Please take it off. Like,
yeah.
Let's get this off of me. I'm not talking to you right now. So,
I mean, he
eventually talked, but
he had to have been like just baffled. I mean, you could see the shock on his face. Like, I mean, he had to obviously know what it was about, but he was genuinely shocked.
And I think here's my question too, because I think he definitely blamed it on Darcy wanting to ruin their happiness, which
she does. I mean, she does pick her timing with this, which is suspect. I mean, and she's done it before. She just drops these little bombs on people, and she picks her time. And I feel like she does it for like maximum drama. So,
but I can't help but wonder, had they not gotten married, would she have still picked this time to do it?
I don't think so, because I think she would want to be showing off Georgie and getting to know her. And then I think after she would have been like, hey, you know, called her out of the apartment or something.
I think so too, because I think Stacey's comments to hers about Georgie being married and not waiting to started like eating at her.
Yep.
And then when they're like, oh, by the way, we're actually married now.
Yep. And she's like,
yeah, I mean, Florian's definitely in shock. And I can't help but wonder, though, if what's going through his mind is, what was sent to her? Not knowing exactly what was sent, so I'm wondering if there's more out there. He's like, oh, shit.
Well,
which one did she get?
mean, obviously he knows what he actually did. So
that's why I'm wondering, like, if he's like,
so he doesn't like,
and then it hits him.
Yeah, he's probably going through everything that happened that he's been hiding and thinking, what piece of the puzzle?
Is it the whole sex tape?
Exactly.
Is it us pretending?
Yep.
Is it me leaving her place the next day?
Yeah. What exactly? Like, what? How much does she know? I mean,
is it the video from the dinner I took her to? Like all these things. So,
you just, you don't know.
He doesn't want to say anything until he knows, because he doesn't want to say too much.
Well, he doesn't, because he's like really still sticking to the story of like, nothing happened. I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know. So poor Florian, though. I mean, like, yeah, he did something shitty. I don't know if we'll ever know the real deal. I mean, I feel like I say that every single week. We just
No, and I did go to her Instagram. I did
Okay.
find Shanti's Instagram.
Oh, you did. Okay.
There's nothing. There's nothing with him. So he's either she posted it on stories or it's obviously been deleted.
Scrubbed. Yeah.
But she is like we're talking Kardashian style gorgeous. If you go to her Instagram.
Okay.
It is yeah.
That makes
really
me
gorgeous.
see, and then those kind of things make me wonder: is this all then fake just for the show? When like you go to her page and there, like, how many followers did she have?
Hold on, she's kind of saved here. 12,300 or 12,000.
Okay, so
Only 12,000, but she was
that's not
Miss.
a ton.
She was a beauty pageant girl.
Okay.
So, and a model. So she had won. Hold on, I'm looking at. Yeah, she's got a very Kardashian look.
Yeah.
Like right there, there's her in a crown.
Okay. Here, lower
You
it
can
a little
see
bit.
What's that? Hold on, let me find a better one. She did. Woo. Yeah, it looks like she's done a lot of judging for like fashion shows.
Okay. So
So
she's,
she was third runner-up in Mrs. Top of the World and Mrs. Diamond.
I mean, so she obviously likes attention and she feeds off this.
She definitely likes
Okay.
attention. You can see it on her Instagram.
Well, I mean,
there's a good pic of her.
hopefully by the end of the season of the show, yeah,
So,
we'll actually know a little bit more of the truth. I don't know, but for right now, Florian is just sitting in the parking lot by himself on his phone, and I'm sure he's texting Stacey, you know, a million things, and I love you, and come back, and believe me, and trust me, and who knows what he's texting. Darcy and Georgie seem to have packed up the picnic, though. Too bad they didn't show us that footage of them carrying all that crap while Darcy is trying to, like, hoof it up the little hill, because...
I feel like Georgie did it. I feel like Georgie probably did it.
Oh, he probably did it all, but it still would have been great. TLC, damn it. Should have shown us that. We need that in, like, the clip when they do the next ones of, like, unseen footage. So they pack up the car and they get on in it, and then they see Florian, you know, sitting in the parking lot, and so they stop, and Darcy's like, hey, Florian, you know, get on in, like, let's go home. Florian just isn't listening to her at all. He's ignoring.
It was more Florian, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, and then, you know, another point for Georgie on the awesome BF meter boyfriend meter, because, you know, he immediately jumps out and goes and sits down by Florian and is really nice to him and is like, you know, like, you'll get through this. It's okay. You know, he's talking to him. I mean, I just love
George.
Georgie.
Not like he even said, I'm not going to judge him by this. This is the first meeting. Yep. I don't know the whole story, but the fact that Georgie, and I think not only just for Georgie, but for reality TV,
yeah,
you really see this human side of people, where he's just one human,
yep,
feeling for another human.
Yep.
Because regardless if this is a TV, regardless if this is a shitty situation. And he's like, look, I'm just going to go talk to him for a minute and see, like,
I mean,
dude, I'm here for you. I'm not against you. I'm not on their team. I'm not in this hate Florian.
just guy to guy. Like, hey, man, you know, it's going to be okay. Like, it's going to be
It was
okay.
really cool to see that human
It
side
is.
of somebody because, I mean, like Darcy says, Tom and Jesse would have never done this.
No, never.
Ever. I think Tom was all about the TV.
Tom was definitely, Tom would have been like, this is too much drama for me. Like, I'll be at the pub down the street. So,
Yeah.
Find me
So
there.
it was, it was really sweet to see him get out and kind of talk to him, and because he's still in shock. He's still like, I don't know exactly what's going on here. Like, he knows, but he's not hitting him.
no. I can't even imagine all the emotions and feelings going on. Like, I don't even want to try to imagine because...
You can't. We won't ever see them.
Yeah, I'm, you know, well, true.
I'm sad.
I'm
confused.
I mean, so poor Florian. He gets in the car. They head back to the apartment building. We come to a commercial. Then we come back, and Florian tells us, you know, now they're showing him in their apartment, and he tells us that he slept alone last night because Stacey went home to her dad's house and is there. And, he's really sad over this whole ordeal, and he really misses Stacey. And, the producers, ask him, hey, do you, why does this keep coming up? Why does this keep happening? And, he is sticking to his story. He still says nothing went on. He is not in a relationship with this woman, Shanti. Nothing happened. And that she is trying to ruin his life by sending those videos to Darcy and intern Stacey.
She called you.
Yeah, she called up me.
Why does this keep coming up?
I know she sees something. The girl sent something to Darcy and tell Darcy to Stacey. This is sad. This girl try to lie, to talk, have a relationship with her and have nothing.
I don't know. I don't understand why he is holding on so strongly when it is obvious something happened. Even if nothing else happened besides what we saw in those videos, that is enough to
100%.
to say this is cheating on Stacey, okay, in my book. Having even if you weren't physical with somebody, if you're just in a texting relationship with somebody or an emailing relationship with somebody, and you guys are flirting and you're sending pictures back and forth and you're doing this, and your intent is to be, that way, with another human being that is not your girlfriend, fiance, wife, that is cheating.
Yep.
I don't care if you
100%.
actually were able to kiss the person or not. The intent is there, the texts are there, the receipts are there. Him lying in bed with this chick, with his shirt off.
He's talking in blue lingerie.
She's in some sort of something, but they're in bed, they're here, obviously having a good time. They're smiling, they're laughing. There is something there. And no matter if nothing else was done, which I don't believe that, I fully think that they slept together and probably multiple times. There is, that is enough right then and there to say that is cheating. That is cheating. How dare you? And why in the world would he let this chick video this? He knew she could see how she's holding the phone. What in his right mind thought, this is a good idea to let this chick have this on video? It's a great idea.
Oh my gosh, right? Yeah, that's what's really weird too.
It's so bizarre. Unless he's getting paid a lot of money from TLC to have this whole thing made up and they're all really great actors and actresses. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
It's just strange.
He doesn't strike me as that stupid of a human being.
But I've met a lot of stupid people, so
you're not wrong.
So they show us Stacey. She's over at her dad's house. She's in bed. She's crying. She's obviously very hurt. She really just wants Florian to, for once and for all, just tell her the damn truth and all of it. Not this half-ass, nothing happened, I love you, this woman is just out to get me. She wants to know the truth, and so would I. No matter what I plan to do, whether I plan to stay or go, I want to know the truth. I don't want to just keep getting these little tiny tidbits.
Yep, and that's the other thing that sucks is it's these little things, at this point, just come clean. Everything's gonna come out. It's slowly trickling. You might as well just rip the Band-Aid off and go with it.
Rip it off so I know everything, so when it comes out, you can be like, yeah, it sucks, already knew that, delete.
Yep, exactly.
I already knew it, it sucks, what can I do?
Yep.
I think if he had just come clean in the very beginning, I know that she would have pushed on and married him no matter what. I think so. I think no matter what, she would have done it. Maybe it wouldn't have happened as soon as it did, but I think she would have pushed on and they would have gotten through it and they would have gotten past it. But with it just being dribbled out here and there and it just being this the knife is just being dug in deeper and deeper. I don't know. It's really hard to get past something like that when you have so much emotional trauma and you keep having the trauma over and over, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yep. I agree.
So
Yeah, because it's like as soon as she gets over something and then gets to a happy place, something else
comes up, because he won't just come out with it and tell her what really happened.
Yep.
And she knows. Everyone knows. They're not stupid. Like, everyone knows something more happened. So just say it already. So that's it. That's where they end. That's where they end episode 8. And I mean, the title was spot on. Ultimate Betrayal. So that's where we end.
All the things.
It's a tough episode. It gave us a lot to talk about. It gave us a lot to watch. It gave us a lot to ponder. But it is definitely not a spot that I would want to be in. I mean,
Nope.
like, especially going through quarantine and living in a micro apartment. I mean, that is just...
Their dad's house, they'd have like upstairs, downstairs, outside, inside.
Yeah,
so
there's-
not in a micro.
Exactly. There's plenty of room. So I'm glad Stacey was able to go to her dad's house and like have that place to go and get away and have her dad around, have her nieces around, have that, you know, a little bit of support in that way to just let herself get, you know, through the initial feelings, and then she can talk to Florian about it and figure out what happened and how they're going to go on from here.
Yep, agreed.
So, I mean, it looks like next week should be a decent episode. Darcy's bringing Georgie around to meet some of her friends, and Stacey is going to confront Florian.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what he says. Hopefully he'll come clean.
I hope he just comes clean. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if they're going to drag it out until the very end of this for us, which they might do with the editing. We might not really know what happens until the very end. That's how they do it sometimes, where Stacey might have known what happens earlier, like depending on how they cut up the editing for us. But it seems like next week is still going to be another, you know, pretty good episode of drama. So if you guys are enjoying the drama, you know, keep watching. Keep watching. At this point, we're in. We're in it. We're invested. And even though Stacey is not my fave person in the world, I am invested, and I want to know what happens. I want to know what happens with Georgie. I want to know what happens with Florian. I want to know what happens with Stacey. I want to know what happens with everybody. And we are going to keep at it and keep watching. Keep doing these videos for you guys. And let us know, though. Let us know what you guys think of this episode and what your thoughts are on their relationships and this situation that they've got themselves into for both of the couples. And yeah. So that's it, guys. We don't have a lot more for you. Please like the video if you haven't already, and give us some comments. We'd love to hear from you, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, so that way you do not miss our review on next week's episode. And yeah,
Definitely.
Any last thoughts, A?
No, it's a lot to
I know.
I can't wait for this week though to see what happens.
I know. Let's see. All right, guys. Well, then we will see you next week, and for another fun-filled, drama-filled episode. All right.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.